Just when you think the pain and suffering is nearly over, you're faced with this. I did wonder why the top of one of our bibs is upside down. Now I know. So you can see it when you run. That's the second climb of the day, over there. Gonna be a long day. First sighting of the top. Just brutally steep and technical. Finally get a slight bit of downhill and it's virtually unrunnable. Near the top of the first technical climb on the single track, several kilometres ago now. A load of us got bitten or stung by something. I was initially worried it was a snake. It was so sharp, so intense. Got me 4 or 5 times almost instantly, but there's no blood, so it can't be a snake. No idea what it was though. Definitely wasn't a horsefly. I know what a horsefly feels like. Maybe you stood in an ant's nest. All I heard down the trail behind me was a merde patan. My favourite part of the day coming up. Food! Again, that's where we're going. All the way up there. Still a long way to go. Look at those views. This is the difference between trail running and sky running. Not much running involved in sky running. So steep and technical. A slow march after the feed station. Everyone's letting their stomach settle. That descent was as steep and technical as I feared. Like I say, not much running in sky running. Just pain. Second big climb of the day done. All the way down to town now. And we sort of climb that over there. Oh, I'm really struggling. This is what we're dealing with. I thought the descents were tough from the previous 2 races I've done, but that was a whole nother level. Descending that was like descending a World Cup downhill mountain bike track, just without any berms to catch you when you get too much speed up. To be honest, that's pretty harder than running down a downhill mountain bike track, because these days everything on the World Cup circuit is basically a jump track. It's all about big jumps and drops. It's very little technical trail anymore. And that was brutal. I had to walk the vast majority of it. Even then I still rolled my ankle, and one section had to descend facing into the slope on all fours. Not very graceful at all. I spent probably about 10 minutes at the aid station in town there, just eating as much food and drinking as much Coke as my stomach could handle. Forget Red Bull, full fat Coke is the sports drink of choice for trail runners. It's everything you need. Caffeine, sugar, liquid. That's one Massif done, but this trail is Deux Massifs. I've got the second one to go. Still got another 800 metres or so of up and down before I finish. I'm well and truly going to be in the pain cave in a few minutes. The wheels are really starting to come off the bus now. Legs are barely moving. Probably only done about 150 metres of up. I'm so close to bonking. As a cyclist, I know the feeling well. And it's really not good news. The only way to recover from a bonk is sugar. And I haven't got any. I've got some solid food, but right now I can't stomach it. Just have to hope the slow release energy from the meat and cheese that I ate at the aid station kicks in soon. Otherwise, I'm fucked. Well, I managed to avoid bonking. I'm still not even close to being able to run again, but definitely getting a little bit of a second wind. Some of that protein and fat must be kicking in now. I managed to overtake some of the people who overtook me when I was in my darkest place again, so in some ways it's nice to see I'm not the only one for suffering. Not that you wish suffering on other people, but there's a kind of camaraderie and shared pain. Still got a fair way to go to get to the top of this Massif, but I think I'm going to make it now. Although these flies seem to think I'm dead already. Circling around me like vultures. That's the top up there somewhere. One of those two lumps. Possibly both. Just when you think the pain and suffering is nearly over, you're faced with this. Definition of a sting in the tail for sure. Well and truly in the pain cave again now, but my salvation is 1 kilometre ahead, the fourth and final feed station. At least it's beautiful up here. No matter how much pain you're in, you can't fail to marvel at that view. Mont Blanc's looking absolutely stunning with all the fresh snow over the last week or so. People are still flying past me going down this long technical descent now. So they must be decent runners. So for them to have been this far behind me, they're only just catching me now, I must have been doing seriously good on the first climb up the mole. Because, yeah, I've just ground to a halt on the second half of the route. And I've been going backwards through the field like crazy. I was probably an hour ahead of some of these people on the first climb, which is pretty insane, really. I know what you'll say, I should have paced myself better, but I'd be suffering now. Even if I'd gone slow at the start, I'd just be even further back in the field, because I suck at descending, and this is so technical, it's just destroying me. I would have had no energy left for the second climb after the first big descent either way, so I might as well put the miles in while the legs are still good at the start. Look how steep it is. I can barely move down this. Yet people are running down it. When I say this is technical, I don't mean technical in the mountaineering sense. I wish it was. If it was hands-on scrambling, I'd be a lot better at it. It's technical in a steep, muddy, rocky, rooty, off-camber sense. It's just horrible. Legs are in so much pain. Home stretch. That's the hardest thing I've ever done by an absolute country mile. Harder than cycling around Mont Blanc, over 340 kilometres in just 2 days. Harder than 26 hours on the Drew. Harder than spending 4 days climbing the Eiger and the Manche. Much harder than the previous trail runs I've done. To put it in perspective, last week's run was 28 kilometres. I did it in 4 hours 20-ish. I don't know what time was exactly today, but it was well over 7 hours, possibly over 7.5 hours, and this is 34 kilometres, so 6 kilometres longer. On last week's pace, we've done it in about 5 hours, so that's a huge difference, all because it's just the nature of the trail. Sure, longer distance you're going to fatigue more, but last week I could comfortably done another 10 kilometres. Sure, my knees and ankles hurt from the final descent, but I actually ended up with more food in my bag at the end of the race than I did at the start. So I had plenty of fuel left in the tank. Yeah, I could have kept going and going and going last week. Only 6 kilometres longer today, but just a whole different world. I thought I was getting quite good at this trail running malarkey, but sky running's a whole different kettle of fish. Don't think I'll be doing another one of those anytime soon. That was just, yeah, just destroyed me, as you can tell. So, turns out I was 237th out of nearly 500 entrants. No idea how many actually made it to the start line, but probably over 400 at the very least. So on paper, that's actually pretty good, but not when you consider that I was 160th at the top of the mole, which is the high point of the route. So if I could descend even remotely average, I would have been in the top 200 comfortably. But yeah, what's that? I dropped 77 places, I think, from the high point to the finish line. So that's, yeah, really not great for the latter part of the race, but I was absolutely destroyed, like I say. Didn't help that I dropped my second energy gel. That's what would have saved me from bonking on the second climb, so yeah. If I hadn't dropped that, might have been a few places higher, but even so, it's the descents that kill me. Obviously, being big and heavy doesn't help, but there are guys who are bigger than me who were ahead of me by the end of the race, so I can't keep using that as an excuse. That was definitely type 2 fun. I did not enjoy that at all though. I enjoyed virtually all the race last week in Legita. That was a lovely trail, but not this. Obviously, I've got it in the bag now. The legs have done it, so I've got that to fall back on. And while I won't be doing any sky racing anytime soon. Next time I do a trail race, even if it's considerably longer than that, it's going to feel a hell of a lot easier because trail running is nowhere near as hard as that was. So yeah, at least I've got that to fall back on. Next up, of course, something over 40k, i.e. a marathon. And then we can think about doing an ultra.